Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Trusted, timely, tradition.
Well, the images and video from protests in China this week made their way around the world. John Phipps looked at what he called China's unsettling problems in John's World earlier in the show. But as protests did break out, it also brought into question if the outcome could alter China's policies longer term. So could it also alter the outlook for protein demand? That's this week's Farm Journal report. Tensions over China's zero-COVID policy seemed to come to a head this week as protests spread throughout China. It was the largest show of public defiance against the Communist Party in more than 30 years. But by midweek, the countrywide concerns seemed to spark change as two giant cities were among the 24 high-risk areas that would see those COVID policies finally lift. And that was also good news for U.S. meat exports.
You hear a lot about these COVID lockdowns, right? And the zero COVID policy and how people can't move around, the restrictions, restaurants closing, but we're gonna see record beef imports this year.
Joel Haggard is the vice president for Asia Pacific with the U.S. Meat Export Federation. He says China continues to show a hunger for U.S. grass-fed beef.
They have this program or this idea, this philosophy of, becoming more self-sufficient. But the numbers are really showing the opposite.
Haggard says the numbers show in 2021, China had record grain, meat, and poultry imports.
This year will be slightly down from last year's crazy numbers, but still very high. And the trend is for more food imports.
And that's why he sees continued growth for U.S. meat exports for now.
Do they want to reduce their dependence on food imports? Yes. But I think they'll take a pragmatic approach. And then you have this consumer base that's getting used to having access to imported foodstuffs. So it's going to be challenging. But I think in the short run, it still looks positive for meat imports and especially for U.S. products.
Randy Block of Cattle Facts is watching the robust hunger for U.S. meat unfold globally.
If you look at demand curves in here, global beef demand is at the highest level on record here in 2022.
He says that's happening despite beef demand in the U.S. tapering off a bit compared to the historic demand the past 2 years. And a key piece of 2022's success is the exports.
In fact, we've gone through and calculated what the value proposition would be, and for every pound of beef that we export, we generate about 60 cents a pound more on what we export versus what we import. You bring that all back to a value proposition to the U.S. industry, and the export value's nearly $500 a head this last year here in 2022.
Well, a shrinking cattle herd in the U.S. could curb the volume of exports over the next few years. Block thinks meat exports will moderate, but not see a sharp drop in 2022.
Our guess is we'll see a 2-3% decline in export activity in 2023 and probably a moderation yet in 2024.
And one area where the U.S. still has the upper hand is in high-quality beef.
The U.S. produces 70 to 75% of all of that high-quality protein or beef in the global marketplace.
Block thinks competition could grow from countries like Australia, which is rebuilding its herd after being hammered by drought. But one area that the U.S. could help serve up new demand is in e-commerce, especially in the Asia area.
I mean, COVID, the pandemic really supercharged that. But, 5 years ago, a family may have just tried to order some beef online, just more as a novelty, but now it's almost like an everyday item.
As the popularity of e-commerce for food shopping explodes in the Asia-Pacific region, USMEF's Ji-hai Yan says the country that's the most advanced in e-commerce right now is Korea.
They actually can buy anything, even if the fresh steak or ice cream or fresh vegetable through e-commerce that will be delivered early in the morning on the next day, and even at the cheaper price.
In the past 20 years, per capita meat consumption in Korea alone has grown 60%, and that's largely due to eating more beef and chicken. And with a strong U.S. dollar today, she says Korean shoppers are still wanting to buy that U.S. meat.
Considering the low self-sufficiency rate for overall food items in Korea, everything is expensive. So if they are pinched with the tight budget, they cut down the fruit first, and then vegetable, seafood, and the meat is the last one they cut down the spending.
Now, we will get an updated look at meat exports next week, but the latest data from USMEF showed pork exports continue to post progress around the globe, while beef exports did cool a bit in the latest report. All right, when we come back, our marketing roundtables dig back into interest rate hikes and what that could mean on all commodities. We'll take a look at that when we come back.